Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna make a video talking about why I believe Blade's Lightcone is some overrated garbage. I just made a video talking about how overrated garbage the E1 Archer is these days, so it's time I pick on something else, I guess. Now, the real reason why I decided to make this video is because I recently did a community post where I said, if you've ever regretted a pull decision before, just know there's people who've pulled Blade's Lightcone. However, surprisingly, there was actually a few people genuinely asking, what is it about Blade's Lightcone that makes it bad? So I thought I'd make a video about it. I am sorry that this is like hella late. I mean, look over here. He only has 3 days left on the Asia servers. I know a lot of you already pulled it if you decided to, and I mean, maybe this is kind of rubbing it in your face if you've pulled it. Who knows, right? Just enjoy it while you have it is all I can say, right? So let's look at the Lightcone and why this is actually some overrated garbage. Now, as usual, many HSR players get fooled by the quantity instead of the quality. It's the same thing with Yao Guang's Lightcone that got heavily overrated at the time, and now this is the exact same case. So increase the wearer's max HP by 30%, pretty standard for an HP scaling limited character these days. Then regenerate a fixed amount of 20 energy on his first turn each time a wave occurs. So this isn't even consistent. He doesn't get this every single turn. He only gets this once each time a wave, which is incredibly inconsistent. And then over here, he basically gives 30% crit damage increase to everybody on the team and a total of 60% for himself. Unfortunately, it's not a separate multiplier. It's the same as the normal crit damage multiplier, meaning crit damage is already one of the most saturated buffs in the entirety of the game. It will buff the team's damage, but it just won't be all that noticeable, right? So TLDR, the energy regen sucks, the buffing capability sucks, and the only thing that even matters on the Lightcone at that point is the fact that it's increasing his max HP to allow him to do more damage himself. But he is the support of his intended team, meaning he's likely going to be the third least damaging among all of them. Which is why I say what I said, this is one of the worst Lightcones in the game. Now, let's get into the free-to-play Lightcone option that he can use, that, to be honest, is incredibly close, if not even possibly better than his own Lightcone in some situations. And then the signature one, which, I don't know when she's going to rerun and her Lightcone's going to come back, but I recommend picking it up if you haven't picked up Blade's Lightcone already, right? So, let's talk about the free-to-play option. Many of you may already be aware of this. It would be Tutorial, which is in the Herta shop. This Lightcone at S5 regenerates 8 energy for the wearer when the wearer attacks enemies in a defense reduced state. M-Blade being a follow-up attack character with high attack frequency, obviously he synergizes incredibly well with this, and 8 fixed energy is 5% of his total ult cost, and this obviously synergizes alongside the energy he's already gaining from these attacks. On top of this, because of his taunt, he'll be getting attacked decently often, increasing his FUA frequency and making it easier to get his ultimate. So TLDR, Tutorial is like a million times better than his own signature at regenerating his energy after that first turn in a wave has passed, which is going to be quite frequent, right? I doubt you're like 0 AVing these MOCs with M-Blade, so unless you're doing that, this is better in terms of ER gen capability, right? And then let's get into the signature. The better signature Lightcone for him is Cypher's signature. Now, a lot of people wouldn't know this because Cypher, I mean, she's old. She was one of the lowest selling characters. Actually, no, she was the lowest selling character in the entirety of Amphorius. So people have kind of forgotten about her. However, her Lightcone is strong. Cypher's Lightcone provides an 18% speed boost, and if the wearer is at 170 or more speed, it actually allows them to inflict 24% defense shred on enemies when they are attacked, right? This is incredibly strong in specifically Blade teams, because especially his intended Fua team, Ashvale is already putting 40% automatically, and Blade is putting 30%. Defense reduction is a damage boosting effect that becomes exponentially stronger the more you get of it. At the beginning, you get 30% defense shred, you're not going to see a 30% damage boost. However, when you get much later into the total amount of defense shred, that's when it really starts picking up the pace and even running full speed. And this would bring you to 94% defense shred on an Ashvale M-Blade team, which is incomprehensibly strong. Even with the self buffs on his own signature, I doubt they'd actually be able to keep up in terms of buffing his damage to a Cypher Lightcone that he's using whilst being alongside Ashvale. However, not only this, the biggest advantage of this Lightcone obviously is that it's not only tied to M-Blade's own damage like his own signature is. This is buffing everybody's damage because everyone is now able to take advantage of 94% defense shred, making it astronomically more valuable, right? So if you're looking for energy regen capability, Tutorial, a 4-star free Lightcone that anybody can get, is lots better than his own signature. And then if you care about his own damage output and as well as buffing the team, Cypher's signature absolutely knocks it out of the park. This is either a good thing or a bad thing for a lot of people that his signature is this bad, but it just is how it is. So that's all. Love you all. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night. Peace out. There's only a minute left for me to hit the 8-minute mark, so yes, I'm gonna purposely stretch out this video just so I can make 2 more dimes. I will say, do put caution into the wind. There is a possibility that Cypher's signature could lose value if Avon ends up having defense shred capabilities in his base kit to fully synergize with Ashvale and as well as Blade, or if he even has it in his early Eidolons. The reason I say this is it seems kinda intended that Gilgamesh has a perfect 100% defense shred with Ashvale and M-Blade's team, and at E1 the entire team can take advantage of this 100% defense shred with Gilga. So if they did this for Gilgamesh, I really just wouldn't be surprised if they did this for Avon, in which case Cypher's signature would lose value here. However, of course, you'd still have Tutorial to take advantage of. In my opinion, it just really is not worth pulling his signature, even if you're in this worst case scenario, because you just don't get enough out of it, in my opinion. Going into his Eidolons, especially his E1 and E2, are so much higher value than getting his own signature that I just could never recommend it, right? So make sure to prioritize his E1 and E2 before you ever even think about going for his Lightcone, because those two are so valuable for buffing his own damage and buffing the entire team's damage capability. Alongside this at E2, because of the combination of E1 delaying his ult state every single time a Fua is active, a Fua is activated, and then his E2 increases his Fua frequency, you basically have like no ult downtime anymore, making life a lot easier for you. Love you all. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night. Peace out.